guys, welcome to what I have come to think of as global freaking pandemic yoga in my living room. Episode 3, even though I feel like we've been in this mess for like at least 490 something days, right? I wish I had something new and exciting to report to you, but I don't. I have some new blisters from walking. I do think that this is an exciting time and that we can all justify ordering brand new running shoes because we're going to need them soon, right? So I'm doing that this week. I've already been scouring Amazon looking for my favorites. I once again washed my hair for you. You're the only reason I really wash my hair anymore. So thank you, Marisa, for giving me a reason to wash my hair. How are you? How are you doing? How are you guys feeling? I love when I walk around the neighborhood and I see you, either yogis from my regular classes or friends from school pickup or just Cedar Grove friends in general. It's so nice to have someone yell something off the porch. You whip your head around like you can't believe someone's talking to you that you don't live with, and you want to engage them in conversation for 20 minutes. And usually they're in their jammies or something, but they don't seem to care because we're just that desperate for other people. I love my family. That's an odd way to start a conversation. I love my family, but it's a lot of family time. And one day maybe we'll look at this and we'll think, oh, thank God we're getting that time, or we had that time. But it's a lot. It's a lot of time. I super love at night when we're done eating dinner and we're done being nice to each other and I can go to our bedroom and watch you or Tiger King. I can't really talk about that yet because I haven't watched very much, but we will talk about that because it's such amazing white trashiness. So good. And I think we need that right now, right? So what I thought we would do today is kind of similar to what we did on Saturday morning. We're going to start with a couple of sun salutations just to get warm and to flow and to move a little bit. And if this is brand new to you and sun salutations are brand new to you, then don't worry about your form. Don't worry about my instructions. I'm trying to rein myself in and not give you as much anatomical instruction as I might normally do. It might seem like I'm giving you a lot, but I hope it's less than usual since these are extenuating circumstances. And I really just want you guys to feel good when you're done with this. So we're going to start with a couple of sun salutations, and then we're going to add a little flow into the sun salutation. And then we're going to do a wide-legged standing sequence that hopefully will open your hips and your hamstrings and the back of your calves and your Achilles and even the arches of your feet. And hopefully that will feel nice for you. And then maybe we'll finish with I want to say like a medium level back bend that'll have a couple options, so hopefully everyone can participate. And then before you know it, time will be up, right? I haven't been watching the clock as I've been teaching these classes, but they seem to be somewhere around 35 to 40 minutes, which I think is probably as much time as we can all get away from schoolwork and the kids and all the snacks that they want. So many snacks every day. So many snacks. So many I don't know how they're not throwing up all the time, to be honest with you. So many snacks. So let's start seated. So find a comfortable seated position. Let's start seated. I like to start with my legs wide just because I feel like that passively starts to open my hips a little bit. And my hips are super tight, so that always feels really good to me. So let's just start, let's start with pointing and flexing, okay? So pull your toes back towards you and then point. Pull them back and point. This seems kind of silly, but you have all these muscles on the tops of your feet that we don't pay a lot of attention to. And assuming you've got nothing else going on right now, you're probably walking a couple miles a day maybe, right? And your feet are getting tight. Your muscles are getting tight. And so it's good to pay attention to them. So point and flex a little bit. Point and flex. Point and flex. Notice how that feels on the top of your feet. Mine feel tight. So when I do the point part, I can feel everything lengthen out through my toes. All right, bend in the left foot. Bring it into the middle of you. And with your hands, with your fingertips, just start to massage that foot a little and just get the blood flowing a little bit so that when we go through our sun salutations, we can really feel rooted down and grounded down into our mat, into the ground, into the earth, whatever. Massage your arch a little. Rub out your toes. Don't even pay any attention to your nasty pedicure because there's no point, girl. You can't do anything about it now and it's just going to get worse. It's going to get worse. I was thinking that the other day, like, think about the things when they finally tell us that we can go out and be human again. Think about the places that are going to be overrun. Nail places, hair places, wax places. It's not going to be the grocery stores. It's going to be Magic Nails and Nutley. Massage out your foot, go around your ankle bone a little bit. It's not the same as having someone else do it for you, but it's good to just kind of wake up your foot, get the circulation going. Same thing, other side. Other side, other side. Rub out your arch. Rub out your toes. Go for the top of your foot a little. Go around your ankle bone. You know what I am dying to get? I am dying to go to like a CVS and get a pumice and make like and dedicate this pandemic time to getting my heels smooth. Because I walk around barefoot like 90% of my life. It's my job to be barefoot, and just in general, I'm comfortable being barefoot. So my heels are always super rough, except for pool season, because you walk around on that concrete all the time, and it's sort of like a natural pumice stone, and then my heels are nice and smooth. And I'm so scared about pool season, I can't even talk about it without my stomach lurching down to the ground, Marisa. I've told you this. But in the meantime, I desperately want to get a really good pumice and start to every night sit on the side of the tub and smooth out my heels. But it seems like a frivolous thing to go to a store for, so I'm kind of scared. Who would have ever thought we'd be scared to go to CVS? That's where we're at. Okay, same thing with our hands. Arms out. Drop them, pull them back. Drop them. Oh, I just got a good crack. Pull them back. Love a good crack. Pull them back, pull them back, pull them back. So now you're going to take your left hand and pull the right fingertips back. Press out through the heel of your palm, the bottom part of your palm. Press out, straighten that arm. So you're pressing out through the shoulder socket, through the heel of the palm, and then switch. Feels good. Yoga always makes me feel better. It always makes me feel like I can take a big deep breath in and just kind of sigh on the exhale. You know, homework has been rough these last 2 days. The novelty has worn off. If there was ever a novelty, make circles with your wrists. If there was ever any shininess to this, it has worn off. It has worn off. So Alex is fine, independent, works on his own, kind of watches The Office and does his work at the same time. It's the other shorter one that's a bit of an issue. And so there have been crying episodes and headaches and, you name it. So anything that I can do that allows me to just take a big breath in and relax is so welcome right now. And yoga's always that for me. Okay, so we're gonna do a forearm stretch. It's a little bit weird, and it might be kind of uncomfortable for a few of you if this isn't something you've done before, but it's gonna feel good in the long run. So, fingers are pointing straight ahead, right? Thumbs are pointing in towards one another. Pointer fingers are going straight ahead. You're going to turn your hands out, right? And then you're going to turn them out more. And so the front of your wrists are facing me as much as you can. And then you're just going to start to lean back, but press your palm down to the ground. Don't roll it up. Lean back just a little bit with your hips, palm pressing down so that you feel this all on the inside of your wrists. It's shocking how tight that is, right? Lean back, press down, and then come on up. So now we're going to go the other way. We're going to start straight ahead again. We're going to turn them in, and then we're going to turn them in a little bit more. And then we're going to press down firmly into the ground, but sit back a tiny bit with our hips, keeping the heels down on the ground and just getting a big stretch from the heel of the palm up onto the inside of the wrist, and then going up the inside of the forearm a little. Nice big breath in. And exhale. All right, so we're going to do a couple cat and cow, which are what we did the other day. Always a good way to start a practice, whether you're doing 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever the case is. It's just good to loosen up your spine a little. So on an inhale, press your spine up towards the ceiling, drop your head, look towards your knees. Inhale. Exhale, do the opposite. Scoop forward and look up. I always get itchy when I'm doing this. Okay, inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Try to feel your way through this. You know, like you're moving on your breath. You're trying to move on your breath. But you're doing this with the intention of lengthening your whole spine from the place where it inserts under your skull out through your tailbone. So you want to feel your way through this. You want it to feel organic rather than forced, right? So move on your breath if that works for you. Ugh, why am I so itchy? And is that a symptom of COVID, itchiness? My gosh, I'm Googling the symptoms like 24/7. And I'm pretty sure I have allergies because I've had them for years. So this is making me crazy. All right, back to what I was saying. Move on your breath if that feels natural. If it feels forced, then don't do that. Don't do that, right? Do what feels good. Always do what feels good when it comes to your yoga practice. So let's do a couple more cat and cows on your own pace. Looking at me if you need guidance. If not, then just move through it. One more. Inhale and look up. And exhale back to a neutral. Let's come into a wide knee child's pose. So knees out to the sides, big toes come to touch, forehead or chin down to the ground, arms out in front of you. All right, come on up. So I'm gonna turn my mat. Gosh, I swear my nose hasn't been itchy all day, and literally I want to rip my nose off right now. I'm going to turn my mat long ways and do my sun salutations facing you. so that we can all do them together. Aren't these the most professional videos you've ever seen in your whole life? I'm sorry, I don't know how to do this. This is new to me. I hope you like it. I hope it's working for you. But I know that these are goofy videos. I don't know how to do it different. And I don't really like Zoom because then you just see this tiny little version of yourself and you cut everyone off so no one can talk, but everyone's still, I don't know. I don't know. So I hope this is working out for you. Desperate times, you guys, right? If you're at all interested and you've never taken yoga with me before, then you're just gonna have to come to a real class. I think I'm better in person. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. So check your feet, hip width apart, right? Hip width is different. Hip width is kind of a misnomer in yoga. Most people think hip width would be the outside of you, right? It's not. Hip width is where the femur inserts into the hip socket. For most people, that's the middle, straight down your legs. So if you go straight down and bring your feet to that place, for most people, it would be 2 fists apart. I can fit 2 fists between my feet. And that's kind of the general spot where most people want to end up when we say hip width apart in yoga. There are styles of yoga that teach with feet very close together. That's not this style because of alignment issues. That doesn't fit into how I teach or the style that I practiced and studied. So we like separation, but if you're more comfortable with your feet closer or wider, then do that, whatever. So if you were with me on Saturday morning, we did sun salutations. It's just a little bit of a flow. We're going to do, I don't know, 2 or 3, and then we're gonna add a little bit of a sequence in that will involve just some very simple standing balance poses that I think we've done before. Warrior 2, maybe Trikonasana, extended side angle, maybe a little bit of a back bend, and then we're going to do a standing wide-legged sequence, and then we'll finish with a back bend that you can choose how big you want it to be. Okay, so feet are hip width, roll the head of the arm bones back, palms face me, inhale up, exhale, fingertips to the floor, inhale up, flat back, hands to the top of the knees, arch your back, and look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale up, exhale and fold. One more, inhale up, and exhale and fold. We are gonna do right leg back, long lunge. You can decide if you want your hands one on either side of the front foot or the inside of the front foot. I prefer the inside of the front foot. I don't really know why. I've just always done it that way. So that's how I feel most steady in my lunge when I'm first coming up. But you're not even coming up for this. I'm just coming up to talk to you. But you decide where you want your hands, inside or outside. Step the left foot back. Downward facing dog, drop your head. Everybody come up onto your toes, balls of your feet. Bend your knees, press your hips back towards the wall behind you, and then straighten your legs and drop your heels. Inhale forward into a plank. Knees, chin, chest, or chaturanga. Whatever feels best. If that's a big fancy word, and you're not familiar with it, then don't worry. Unclench, right? We talked about this the other day. Unclench. Curl your toes under. Lift your hips. Come on up into downward facing dog. Now we stepped back with the right foot. So we're going to step forward with the right foot into our long lunge. My nose is still itchy. And then we're going to step the left foot forward, coming into a standing forward bend. And we're back at the beginning of our sequence. Oh my gosh. Maybe I'm allergic to something in my house. Maybe it's my kids. It might be my kids. The short kid. I think so. Okay, so Let's start again. Feet are hip width and parallel. Roll the head of the arm bones back. Inhale up. Let's interlace here and press up towards the ceiling. Maybe find a little back bend. Come on up. Exhale, forward bend, fingertips to the floor. Inhale up, first flat back. Exhale and fold. Inhale up, flat back. Exhale and fold. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale and fold. Right foot back, long lunge. I mean, literally, what's one of the one things we're not supposed to be doing right now? Touching our face. I have probably touched my face 40 times since I started talking to you. Hands down, step back into downward facing dog. Come up on the balls of the feet, bend the knees, press back through the hips, drop the heels. Inhale forward into a plank. Engage the core here, support the low back. Knees, chin, chest, or chaturanga. Coming up into your high cobra. Unclench. And then curl the toes under. Lift the hips, come on up into dog. We are going to step forward with the right foot. Left foot's going to follow. Standing forward bend, front of your mat. Oh my gosh, it's getting warm. You getting warm? All right, come on up. Let's do, I have to put my hair back. Let's do one more. That fresh hair lasted 45 minutes. I don't care, pandemic. Okay, let's do one more, and then we're gonna add a little bit of a sequence to it, and then go into a wide-legged, okay? So make sure you're at the front of your mat, always at the front, so you have all that room behind you to play. Head of the arm bones roll back. And all I mean by that is your palms are facing forward, okay? Inhale up. Exhale, forward bend. Fingertips to the floor. Right foot back. Long lunge. Hands down. Left foot back. Downward facing dog. Knees, chin, chest, or chaturanga. And real quick, if you're not sure what that is, just watch me for a second. If I come into my plank, knees, chin, chest are knees, chin, chest, slide forward into my high cobra. Chaturanga is a little different. It's inhaling forward into plank, lowering all the way down, sliding forward, and coming up. You don't need to know that right now. Curl the toes under, lift the hips, come on up into downward facing dog. Right foot forward. Long lunge. Left foot forward. Standing forward bend, front of your mat. Drop your head, cross your arms at the elbows, give yourself a little weightiness. And then come on up. All right, hot mess hair going on. Let's just do a quick shoulder opener, okay? Right hand to the left shoulder, left hand to the right elbow, and press. Big breath in and exhale. Switch it up. Same thing on the other side. Left hand to the right shoulder. And then switch. Now, bring them behind you. Interlace. Okay, interlace your hands. Press your palms together, but move them away from your body. Bringing the shoulder blades together, and then sliding or wiggling the hands down over your tush. So you feel this spaciousness in the front of your shoulders. That's what you're going for. Feet are hip width and shoulder length apart. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Move the upper arms back behind you. Got that? And then release. Okay, so one more sun salutation. I'm going to turn my mat because we're going to add a little bit of a twist. Very exciting in these mundane, boring times of ours. A little bit of a yoga twist. Not really. It's exciting to me. Come on up to the front of your mat. Feet are hip width and parallel, right? Roll the head of the arm bones back. Like you just did when you were doing that, you want that same sensation. Palms forward. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fingertips to the floor. Inhale up, flat back. Hands to the top of the knees. Exhale, arch. Inhale up. Exhale and release. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale and release. So let's start left foot back. We're going to switch it up a little. Left foot back, long lunge. Now instead of going right back into our dog, we're going to turn the back heel down. Keep the bend in the front knee. Come on up into your warrior two. My front knee's bothering me a little, so I'm not going to bend as deep as I normally would. So just be wary of if things feel off and just adjust, right? I'm going to bend cautiously. Arms are going to come up, but I'm not sitting as low in my pelvic girdle because I'm not bending the knee as much. Look over the middle finger of the front hand. Start to reach out in front of you. Reach out, reach out, reach out. Straighten the front leg. Decide where you want the front hand. Inside of the front foot, top of the front foot, out to the side. Lean into that hand. Open up the top arm. Perfect. Reach up, reach up. So you're reaching down into the ground, up towards the sky at the same time. You're moving in two different directions. Bend into the front knee. Come up into your warrior two. Now bring the right elbow to the right knee. Extend the left arm straight up and overhead. Extended side angle. Reach, reach, reach with those fingertips. Come on up. Warrior two. Now you're going to go into an extended half moon pose. So keep the bend in the front knee. Bring the back arm, for me that's my left, down the back of the left leg. Right arm is going to come up. Palm's going to flip so it's facing behind you. Bend into the front knee. Reach up and above you. Start to find a little back bend. And then come on up. Warrior two. Hands to the floor. Back into your dog. Knees, chin, chest, or chaturanga. Unclench. Once you're in your cobra, unclench. Take a big breath in. Curl the toes under, lift the hips. Come on up into dog. Now I'm going to switch sides so I'm facing you. But you guys are going to stay just as you are. So we're in our dog. Now we are going to step forward with the left foot. Long lunge. Turn the back heel down. Right, kind of play with this a little. And then swing yourself up to your warrior two. I'm sorry I washed my hair. Gaze over the middle finger of your front hand. Back hand is just as high as the front hand. Nice big breath in. Start to reach out in front of you. Start to straighten the front leg. Decide where you want the front hand to go. Inside, top, or outside. Lean into the back hand. Extend up with the top arm. Moving in two directions. Down into the ground. Up into the sky. Come on up. Warrior two. Now extended side angle. So now the left elbow comes to the left thigh. Right arm comes up overhead, reaching for like where your crown molding would be, if you had it. Big breath in. Come on up, warrior two. And then half moon. So the back hand slides down the back leg, the front arm flips palm up, and then finds a little back bend. And then come on up, hands to the floor. Now we're gonna step up into our standing forward bend, but I'm gonna turn my mat. So you do that while I turn to a different angle. All right, so everyone's in their standing forward bend, right? Come on up, let's do 3 flat backs. Inhale up, arch your back, look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale up, arch your back. Exhale and fold. And one more time, inhale up, arch, look up. Beach ball out in front of you, sit back into your chair. Oh my gosh, my hair. And come on up and relax. Good job. You feel good? You feel warmer, I hope? Okay, so now we're just gonna do a little wide-legged sequence. Quick, short and sweet, really good for the hips and the hamstrings. We'll do 1 back bend and then we're good. And then we can move on to all the other exciting things we have to do today. Okay, so go wide. Go as wide as you're comfortable going. You want straight legs. You want parallel feet with the edges of your mat. In general, if you lift your arms, your ankles would be under your wrists. That's kind of like a good place for most people to be. Hands to your hips, and we call this speed skater. You might want to turn your toes out tiny, tiny, tiny bit. And then you're just going to shift your weight one side to the other, bending into the knees a little bit, straightening the opposite leg as you go. And again, I'm being careful because my right knee is a little funky right now. I think I overdid it with a class I took the other day, and it's a little bit off. All right, come back to center. Bring your feet a little closer. Wiggle them in. Parallel with the edges of your mat, but not turning in, not turning out. You want to watch your knees here. Now you're going to bend into your pose, a little bit of a squat. Elbows come to the inside of the knees, hands come together in prayer. You press the knees apart using your elbows. Press apart using your elbows. Hands to the floor, hips in the air, forward bend. Nice big breath in. One more inhale. And exhale. All right, so our last pose in this little quick wide-legged sequence is a full squat, malasana. So bring your feet closer, but not super close. Turn your toes in. And the reason you turn your toes in is because instinctively your body's going to want your feet to turn out when you go down into the pose. You want to try to end with reasonably parallel feet for your hips alignment, for your hip alignment, not hips, hip. So turn with your feet in. And the rule with this pose, there's not a lot of rules in yoga. The rule with this pose is that if your heels start to lift, you have to lower down. If you can stay on a flat foot, you you can drop your butt as much as you want, but your heels have to stay flat. And your toes are going to want to turn out as you lower down, and you're going to let them, because then it's going to put you in a better alignment and be more natural. So start to lower down. My heels stay low all the way for this, so I can drop all the way down. My elbows go between my knees. My elbows press my knees apart to create space in my hips. And I'm pretty comfortable like this. This is okay for me. Some of you may not be here, or you may be lower, or you may be higher. As long as your heels are flat, you're good, right? Big breath in. Exhale. And we're gonna come from here down onto our hands and knees for just a couple quick cat and cows. Inhaling, dropping the head, pressing the spine up. Exhaling, arching the back and looking up. Doing the reverse a few times. Breathing through it. One or two more. Last one. And come to a flat back. So our last pose today is going to be a nice back bend called camel. And camel's a good one because there's different variations. You can do a half camel, you can do a lower camel, you can do a higher camel, you can do any variation that feels best on your spine and still get a really good back bend out of it. That's one of the best things about yoga. Everyone's in a different place, and yoga will always meet you where you are with variations and alternatives and options. So you can be in a class with 25 people, and it may appear that everyone's doing the same thing, except nobody looks like they're doing the same thing because everybody needed a different version of that pose, but you're all doing yoga. So camel, let's talk our way through the different variations, okay? So a half camel would be toes curled under. Automatically, when you're doing camel, if you curl your toes under, it gives you height and a little lift, and you don't have to reach as far behind you. So automatically, that makes it a lesser back bend, but still a back bend. So if your back's a little screwy or your shoulders are super tight, you might want to curl your toes under. Half a camel would be one hand. So I'll do my right hand to my right heel, leaning back into it, left arm up, and then I look up towards the ceiling and up towards the extended arm. And my hips in camel, your hips and your thighs are always pushing forward. You don't want to collapse back. You want to push forward with your pelvis and come on up into the pose. So this is your half camel, okay? So if you're doing a half camel, you're going to do it on both sides. Do the left and the right. Now, a full camel with toes curled under is exactly what I'm saying. Toes are curled under, hips and pelvis come forward, right? You reach behind you for your heels, you drop your head, and you relax into the pose. A lot of lengthening, a lot of stretching in the front of your thighs. Right? I think I'm maybe going off the camera when I do this. Now the full variation of a camel are feet flat. So the tops of your feet are pressing into the mat. You're reaching further, and it's a bigger back bend. So if you're doing that, bring the feet out behind you. In my case, I'm reaching for my scruffy heels that I'm desperate to pumice, but maybe another day, right? Not a priority. Hashtag not a priority. And I'm gonna reach back for my heels, drop my head, hips and pelvis forward, and relax. Couple breaths here. And then you come up. And I always like to do the opposite action. So we just did a back bend, now we're gonna do a big child's pose. So big toes together, knees out to the sides, hips back, forehead, chin, chest to the mat, arms out in front of you. Awesome. Excellent. Good job. Come to lay on your backs. Lay on your backs. Lay on your backs. Get comfy. Find your breath here. Right? Start at the top of your head and do a quick inventory on how you're feeling, right? Is your head feeling a little clearer? Is your mind feeling a little stiller, a little calmer maybe? Maybe just a little less anxious, which would be fantastic, right? Who can't use that? And then work your way down. Do your shoulders feel a little tired, like a little used, a little open? That's what we were trying to do, create space, right? And then down the spine, into the hips, into the legs, the hamstrings, the backs of the knees where we get tight, the backs of the calves, the backs of the ankles and Achilles, and then even into the feet, which we played with in the beginning and massaged a little. Now do the opposite. Feel the heaviness in your heels. Feel the heaviness in your hips. Feel yourself heavily sinking into your mat. Arms are out, palms are out. Feel the heaviness in your hands. And then work your way all the way up to your head and feel the heaviness of your head as you lie here on the mat. When you're done with a yoga class and you're taking a few minutes to lie in Shavasana, you should feel more connected. You should feel more grounded. You know, I think I mentioned this the other day, and I know I say it in my regular classes when we're not in the middle of a global pandemic. I can't say that enough because it's so surreal and crazy that I can even say it and have it be a real thing. But I don't get a lot into the philosophical part of yoga, but I do subscribe to the idea of feeling more grounded at the end of a class and feeling more centered and feeling more just in touch and more in the moment, right? Definitely more in the moment. And so take a second here and appreciate that feeling. Appreciate how good that feels, because it should feel pretty good, right? You did something good for yourself for even just however long we were together. You weren't doing second grade math or Spanish or art or gym. And you were just doing something for you, a little bit of self-care. And self-care doesn't have to be fancy or expensive. It can be something super simple. You know, my best friend gave me a sugar scrub the other day, and it's pineapple and mango, and it's the perfect consistency and texture. And when you shower off and then like 3 hours later touch your arm, you still feel that waxy coating from the oil, and it's so delicious and good. I keep showering just to smell it. But that's self-care, right? Self-care, before I had kids, self-care used to be a spa in the village called Oasis. Now it's a sugar scrub in my bathroom and some yoga on my living room floor. It's all relative. And it's all necessary. So, nice deep breathing here. Eyes are closed. Inhale in through the nose. Draw the breath all the way down into your low belly, into your core. Hold it there for a comfortable couple of seconds, 2, 3, 4, whatever feels best. And then slowly exhale the breath back out. And we're going to do that one more time. Inhaling in, drawing the breath all the way down into the low belly, holding it there for your comfortable count, and then slowly exhaling it back up. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, come on up to a comfortable seated position. You can go wide-legged. You can go cross-legged. You can do whatever's going to feel best for you. See how much higher this hip is. See how much higher the knee is sitting. That's how much tighter my right hip is than my left. Crazy, right? Okay. Hands come to your heart in prayer. Close your eyes. Nice deep breath in. Exhale the breath. One more inhale. Namaste. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining me once again. I hope you're finding this helpful. I hope it just makes you feel good, right? That's all yoga is supposed to do, is make you feel good, make you feel better. If you join me for the next class, which will be on Saturday morning, try to have a long piece of something, like a strap. If you have a yoga strap, have your strap nearby. If you have a scarf, if you have a belt, if you have a long piece of ribbon, you want something that's about 6 feet long. And if you don't have it, I'll give you alternatives, but if you have something that's strap-like, it's going to make what we do a little bit more comfortable on your arm. It's my very favorite party trick. It's a hip opener. It takes a little bit of time, but it wins you to yoga because you physically feel the spaces being created in your hip, and you just can't deny that it's happening. It's that good. So hopefully I will see you Saturday morning. You will have some kind of strap or something. If not, we'll figure it out. But until then, I don't know. Good luck. Thank you guys. Have a good afternoon or a good night. Bye. Oh my gosh, my hair.